In your time since you've been retired, and as you get ready for this big day, which of course is historic in Giants history, and you were never a guy to talk about your own accolades, but have you had time to reflect on what you've meant to this franchise and this honor that they're bestowing to you on Sunday?
I think, I appreciate this honor. I know it is extremely special. And, I think I still try to just, think back and think about all the wonderful times, all the wonderful coaches that I've had in my life, the wonderful teammates that I've had in my life. And without them, without their mentorship, without their friendship and their abilities, this is not possible. It is, even though it's my number, I think it is kind of a celebration. I look at a celebration of all the teammates and the people who I threw touchdowns to and who blocked for me, and defensive guys who helped us get wins. Football is such a team sport, and I always talked about the quarterback probably gets too much credit when you win and maybe too much blame when you lose as well. But it is such an honor to have played my 16 years with the New York Giants and to be, one of the 12 jerseys retired by this storied franchise is, it's probably hasn't kicked in it's a reality quite yet.
Respect.
Eli, congratulations. What would you like your legacy to be when people are looking back on your career with the New York Football Giants?
You know what? I think just the availability. That's something that I probably take most pride in. Just the fact that I was there week in and week out every week, and to never miss a game because of injury or anything else. I think that was always important to me. I think the players responded to that. They took great pride in that, and as it went on, they didn't want to be the offensive lineman didn't want to be part of the group that got Eli hit or injured and to miss a game. And in the games where I was banged up and I was had an injury, I think those next weeks they blocked even harder. Just say, hey, we got to keep him healthy and we don't want to make this worse. And so I think they saw that. They saw that I wanted to be out there and that I wanted to be out there at practice. And I think that was hopefully contagious, and the other guys were going to be out there and do everything they could to be there. And so that's something, there's only so much you can control playing football. You cannot control the outcome of every single game. There's too many things that are out of your control, but you can control your desire, your heart, and your willingness to do whatever it takes to be there for your team and your organization and your teammates.
Well done, Eli. Enjoy it.
Thank you,
Chris.
Eli, first off, congratulations, man, on everything.
Thank you.
Eli, I'd like to talk about a guy who's obviously very big to you, and Tom Coughlin, especially after the news that Coach Coughlin came out with last week with the health issues with his wife. If you don't mind, Eli, talk about, you were a young pup coming into this league and Coughlin coached you through everything, your feelings towards him.
Yeah, can't say enough great things about Coach Coughlin, and owe so much of my success to him and his, just the way he pushed me, and he, taught me the importance of preparation and hard work and team above self, and just all the lessons that I learned. And I feel that, that's one of the great honors and privileges that I had was being able to play under him for 12 seasons. And, we still talk, we still communicate. I still look at him as a mentor and keep him in my life. And I've talked about, with him and with Judy and everything going on in his life. And I've known about it for a long time. And I know it's, seeing the struggles that he's going through, dealing with that. He's all of a sudden kind of has a different role going on right now with him. But I think he, as always, he's been open about it, and he's, talked about it, and he's dealing with it and making the best of it.
Thank you, Eli. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Canavan. Hey Eli, how you doing?
Well,
You just talked about preparation and hard work, and that kind of led into what I wanted to ask you about. When you retired, were you prepared for retirement? I mean, had you thought out everything, or did you say, "I'm going to enjoy it, and then we'll worry about what happens"?
I knew I was ready to retire. That's kind of the only thing I knew, that it was. I was done. And I wasn't gonna second guess. I wasn't gonna look back and worry about it. I knew that I was ready to be done playing football. And that when I look back on my time, I was just gonna reflect on the good moments and the happy moments and the friendships I made, and the wins we got to celebrate and remember those things. And so, I think it was obviously such a strange time, and I wanted to take time away. But, football, takes up a lot of your time during the season, during the off season at nights. And so I wanted to take a year off and just be around my family and see if there was anything else I knew I wanted to pursue or wanted to be interested in, and just kind of step away. And with the pandemic, it made it easy to do that, because there weren't many options going on. And what I kind of realized is that I still love the game. I still love prepping for it and watching film and analyzing and talking about it. Some people, when I'm around people, they're like, "I hate to talk football with you." I said, that's what I know. Like, I don't know business. I don't know how to read a spreadsheet. I don't know everything going on in the world all over the place. But I know the game of football, and I enjoy talking about it. So I think that's. I don't know if I was prepared exactly for everything going on, but I've enjoyed having downtime. I've enjoyed coaching my kids and some of their sports leagues, and I'm enjoying getting back into the game this fall, kind of with the Giants and through doing Monday Night Football with Peyton. I'm enjoying getting a little taste of it and kind of slowly getting back into it, but not having to give all the time that I used to have to give.
And the commercials?
Yeah, still doing commercials and have time for that. And yeah, I mean, those are always enjoyable, especially if I can do some with my family or with my brothers. And I think those are always kind of a way to kind of not take yourself too seriously, and a way to show your personality. And that was kind of how I did it a little bit while I was playing. And now I think it's another way just to continue showing the lighter side of things.
Don Levy.
Congratulations, Eli. When I look at your career, one of the real oddities, Eli, is that you only had one home playoff win in this stadium where you're now going to have this great moment on Sunday. I'm curious if you think that's odd at all, that all your big games just always seem to be not in this building, the games you remember for, the Super Bowls, the NFC Championship games. It's weird you only had the one home playoff win, and kind of what you remember about that game specifically, because the Falcons are obviously on the other side, that Matt Ryan's on the other side of this game, just like they were in 11.
Yeah, I don't know why we always seem to try to make it more difficult on ourselves than it had to be, but that was kind of our style. We liked two-minute drives at the end of the games to win, and I guess we just enjoyed kind of creating the drama of football, and I think that's what the fans wanted. I think we're just trying to please the fans and keep the games interested. But yeah, I mean, I think it is strange to have one playoff game, but I remember that one very well, that one win at home versus Atlanta, and it's ingrained in the mind, and just the feeling of the crowd and of the fans and everyone there. But obviously we would like to have more wins at home during playoffs, but the ones on the road were still pretty special with our teammates and those fans that traveled there for it.
Justin.
Hey, Eli, thanks for doing this. I have a two-part question for you. You referenced working with Peyton. Was wondering if the enjoyment level of broadcasting games with him has exceeded your expectations. And then the second half, what has been the most enjoyable part of retirement for you that has surprised you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've enjoyed it. It was never a goal of mine to get into broadcasting. It wasn't like I got done playing football and I was like, I definitely want to hop right in the booth and start calling games. I kind of, didn't necessarily think I would want to do that. And a lot of it's because of the traveling and to be, being gone every weekend calling games. And that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted my weekends back. That's something, I thought that's kind of the good part of retiring is to be around on weekends and go to sporting events and coach my kids. And so, but I've enjoyed like doing a Monday night. I mean, I got to have dinner with my kids on Monday night and then, go down and call the game. And so, I've enjoyed that aspect. And again, just getting back into the game, getting to, break down film, kind of get to, talk X's and O's with my brother, which he explains it, but then try to explain that to the fans. And I think just doing it in this more relaxed way where I don't have to, I don't know the name of every single player on the field. I don't know who the left guard is, for the Baltimore Ravens, necessarily. And so, I think just, hey, it's how I would watch a game, what I would say, what I would notice, and if I could rewind, hey, I would want to rewind certain plays and look at things to explain it to someone who might not know what's going on. And so I've enjoyed that. And I think with retirement, I've enjoyed, a lot of it's just kind of, being around my kids' sporting events. I never really got to missed a lot of those on the weekends over the years, and when they were coach or do those things. I think just being a part of that with them, and just enjoy being around their friends. I didn't know a lot of their friends, and get to be around them and have some fun with them.
Jordan.
Hey, Eli, congrats, man.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, when you look back on the totality of it all, how much does that first Super Bowl, the game-winning drive there, how much does that kind of help create what your legacy has become? I mean, how big a part of that, and what do you kind of remember about that? What are we at, 14 years later or so?
Yeah, I mean, that whole playoff stretch was, probably very, very important in my career of 07 and Coach Coughlin's. We were probably both on that line of, hey, do these guys have what it takes or not? And that stretch of winning those playoff games and going into Green Bay, and then of course going against what would could be known as the greatest team of all time, in that 07 Patriots team in the Super Bowl, and be able to beat them. And I think it, there have been kind of glimpses of good and some bad and all that, some ups and downs. And I think, that kind of just proved that, hey, he can play well in the biggest moments. And that's something we were able to do quite a few times. And so, it was obviously a unbelievable feeling. And, and it's something you just share with your teammates. You see your teammates from that 07 team, and it was just a very special bond. A lot of us came in together with O'Hara and Chris Snee, and Dave Deal had been 1 year before, and Kareem McKenzie had just joined, and so you kind of had a lot of guys that were young coming in together. Brandon Jacobs, and to kind of stay together and go win a championship was very special. And you just can, have a special connection and bond with those players and those coaches from that season.
Tom Rock.
Eli, they're retiring number 10. Can you take us back to the genesis of it? I know you wore 18 in high school, and obviously that was retired when you got to college. Do you remember the first time you were given number 10 and why you picked it, or why it was picked for you?
Yeah, when I went to Ole Miss, it's kind of, hey, what numbers are available a little bit. They asked me if I wanted to wear 18 at Ole Miss. It was already retired from my dad wearing it. They said they would take it out of retirement and let me wear it. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I can't remember what the options were, maybe 14 or some single digits, but I'd never been a single digit number. And so I'd never worn, I think I kind of said I'd never worn number 10 before. I don't think I ever had it. at any league or level growing up. And so I said, well, I'll go 10. I kind of like it. And so picked it from there and wore it out to college. And when I got to the Giants, Jeff Fiegels was number 10. And I remember on the way from, where I was drafted, Madison Square Garden, kind of going to Giant Stadium to be welcome was on, someone had Fiegels on the line, and we worked out a deal real quick for a trip to Florida. And if it was going to be easy and simple, not a big story, then I said I'd do it. If it was going to be, something outrageous, I probably would have moved on and found another number. I didn't know what was available at the time, but it was very easy. And if I said if I could keep it, I'd like to keep it. And the rest is history.
We'll take 3 more. Patty, Glauber, Schwartz. Patty.
Eli, congratulations on this tremendous honor. Just kind of curious, when you first come into the league, obviously you don't have expectations. You don't know how things are going to go. You know how you'd like them to go and whatnot. But when you look back over your career, can you just talk a little bit about the growth you experienced as a person, not as a football player? We know about the records, but as a person, the maturity that you went through the ups and downs and whatnot.
Yeah, obviously, you come into the NFL and you're 22 or 23 years old, and just the I think my mindset when I first got there is all of a sudden you come into that locker room and you see Amani Toomer and Michael Strahan and Luke Pettigrew and Tiki Barber and these guys who have had success, and these guys who are big personalities, and these guys that have families and have kids. You're like, holy cow, like I'm not in college anymore. In college, you're all the same age, you're all, kind of going through the same issues. And now you're with some grown men. And, my take was, hey, I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to, be in early. I'm going to stay late. I'm going to try to, ask good questions when I need to, and just try to earn the respect of my teammates by just, being dependable, showing up and trying to do all the right things and earn it through just being tough and taking hits and getting up and being there every week. And I think that was kind of the mentality, all 16 years. I wanted to earn the respect of my teammates. And even, year 15, when you have rookies coming in, I wanted them to see how I was working and how I was preparing and how important it was to me. And I wanted them to see this is a guy who's 15 or 16 years into it, and he's still grinding and still asking questions, and he's engaged in every meeting. And so I think that was always the mindset and the mentality. But as you get older, you also want to be a mentor and help those younger people learn and have success and to reach their their full potential.
Thank you.
Eli, congratulations. You were talking earlier about you knew you were done, but you still wanted to take a year away from football. And I'm curious, and I just had one follow after that. I'm curious if you, at the end of that year, kind of felt rejuvenated, recharged, would you have considered playing again if the opportunity presented itself?
No, I don't think. You've seen a few guys take the year off and come back, and Gronk is obviously doing it. And Jason Witten did it, but there was no interest in coming back. I saw the hits the quarterbacks were taking, and I said, I do not want to experience that anymore. I like how I feel every Monday morning when I wake up, and it's not just the hits, it's just everything. I enjoy the preparation. I could have gotten back into that part, but just the losing, just the everything, just the grind of it all. I think I don't know if I could have totally got back into all that, and more of this. Yeah, the losses just hurt more. They affect your sleep. They affect your week. It affects family life with my wife and kids, and it just got too much. And so I like watching the games, and I root for the Giants, and I feel for them after a loss. But you know what? I go to bed very easily on Sunday nights and wake up and feel good about the upcoming week, and it's not something that lingers for 3 or 4 days like it used to.
then do you think if is it possible if you guys were winning, you would have continued playing?
Well, I mean, hey, that's just with the contracts and the contract was up and it was just time. It was time to be done. So I wasn't playing at the level I used to be playing, and so it was just time to hang it up and said I had a good run and now it's time to be done.
Okay, sorry, just with your New York connection with your dad, was there a connection with him that you knew about with the Giants that meant a little bit more for you playing your entire career here?
My dad obviously, my dad grew up listening to the Giants on the radio just because of Charlie Connerly. Charlie Connerly was a great quarterback. He played for Ole Miss, came to the New York Giants, played his 15 years with the Giants at quarterback. And so I think it's pretty neat, kind of that similarities that Charlie Connerly and I had. And I won the Charlie Connerly Award 2 times when I was at Ole Miss for the best, football player in the state of Mississippi, and had a relationship friendship with his wife, Perry Ann Connerly, who just passed away a few months ago. And so I think, my dad always kind of knew about the New York Giants, growing up, and it was one of his dad's favorite teams because of Charlie Connerly. But, just kind of didn't know all those things really until a little bit later, really until I got to the Giants and got to talk to, him about that and hear some of the stories and learn a little bit more about Charlie Connerly and kind of his playing career with the Giants.
Last one here, Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Eli, congratulations.
Thank you.
When you, this is after all a jersey retirement celebration. All those years when you saw all the 10s out there, you see them in parks and in malls and certainly at the game. What were you thinking then, and what do you thought was your obligation to the people wearing the 10s? And now, when you still see them, when you go out, I'm sure there's still a lot of them out there. What do you think you'll think about now, knowing that there's a 10 there, but no one else will ever wear that again?
It's just such a tremendous honor, and I'm just honored. I mean, I'm kind of speechless about it. Just thinking about that scenario and the fact that that's happening. It was kind of never the thought. That was when I started my first game. 17 years ago, versus the Falcons, it was not the thought that, hey, my jersey's definitely getting retired with the New York Giants. I got this thing figured out. And so it's just surreal. And to go there and just, travel, go to the game that week 1 and see Giants, number 10 jerseys, I always, as I was driving in, I always see a couple, other friends and teammates' jerseys still around. I take a picture and send it to them. If I see a number 60 or a number 51 and Diassi or, Chris Snee and some of those guys, or Brandon Jacobs. So they're still, still out there and still a lot of fans. So it's just it's going to be special. It's going to be a very emotional day and kind of one last farewell to all those fans wearing number 10 and all of them that were supported me during my time with the Giants, continue to support me. And so I just appreciate their loyalty and their support through all these years.